Motorhome Water Systems. Do you want to know what happens when we put water into here? How it gets to here and how it gets to here. Hi, welcome to the Motorhome Man. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe to us for more hints, tips and motorhome reviews. Now what we're going to do today is give you a basic understanding of a motorhome water system. Most of the motorhomes, except from the small campervans, have an onboard water tank for fresh water. So first of all, what we have to do is to fill up the fresh water tank. And the capacities vary depending on the size of the motorhome, from 60 to 150 litres. So we put the hose into there and put the water into the tank. All freshwater tanks have a lockable filler cap to stop contamination. Sometimes these can seize up, so a good tip is to drop the cap into the boiling water for about 10 minutes. Now some of the motorhomes have a different method of filling up the water tank, using an external pump via the aquaroll, just like caravans. One other way of doing this is with a hose adapter, which you plug in, and then connect it to your water tap. I'm not really a great lover of this system because it means carrying an aquaroll and does not give you the flexibility of filling up manually. Some freshwater tanks are usually underslung beneath the van floor. These can be accessed usually via a trapdoor in the floor with a removable cap. For draining purposes, you will find a bung in the tank. And it's always a good idea, if you're not using your van for a few weeks, to drain the tank down to stop stale water.
Go.
For vans that don't have a underslung tank, these can usually be found underneath the bench seats or normally underneath the fixed beds. This one has a bung located in the tank to drain off with, and if it's not the case, there will be an external blue tap close to the location of the tank. So what's happening is the water's coming through the inlet pipe and then into the freshwater tank, filling it up. On nearly all the motorhome control panels, there's normally a water tank filler gauge, so it can tell you how much water is going into the tank. Once the tank is filled, we need to prime the water system. So we need to send the water from the tank to the water heater and then up to the taps, which is done by a 12-volt pump. This is a pressure pump, but you can also have a submersible pump which is located in the tank. So in order to do this, we have to switch the pump on, which is normally on the control panels. And what I like to do is to switch the tap on in the hot position to release any air as the water heater is filling. So what's happening is the pump is pulling water from the freshwater tank, it's going through the pump and it's filling up the water heater, which is normally 10 to 15 litres, and this will take 2 to 3 minutes. Once the water's coming through, I like to turn it to the cold, so I know I'm getting a good flow. And I'll repeat the process in the washroom with the other taps. The water pump is now switched off as we're primed up. Every time we use water from the water heater, it will automatically be replaced with what we've used. And as you can see on the pump, we do have a filter on here which should be changed annually. More importantly, on the water heater, we do have a drain off, which is the yellow lever here. To drain the water out the water tank, we lift it up, which empties all the water out of the heater. So as you can see, the water is coming out the tap and going down a plug hole. Everything that goes down the plug hole goes to an onboard waste tank, which is normally underneath the van. All waste tanks have an external drain tap which need to be emptied. This one's located towards the back of the van, with which I can empty. It's very important to drain your motorhome down because it can be an expensive mistake, especially if you get frost damage in your water heater. So what you need to do if you're not using your van for a while is to drain your fresh water tank, drain your hot water tank, and what I like to do is to open all my taps up to let any water out of the taps, and also make sure my waste tank is also open. Now this was a basic description of the Motorhome water system. Some motorhomes do vary, but the principle is the same. We will do more in-depth videos of different water systems and their parts, and we hope this video was helpful to understand the basics. Feel free to comment below and don't forget to subscribe.